Hi there, this is John Hyman from Commercial Real Estate Online. Welcome to the program. This is the video show where I like to share tips, tools and ideas in commercial, industrial and retail property around the world. And the website to contact us is commercial-realestate-training.com. In today's program, I'm going to go through some aspects of shopping centre performance, which you will find very interesting and useful if you are involved in shopping centre leasing and or management. Now, before going further, this particular matrix I have used around the world many times over the last 15 to 20 years, and there is a lot of information in this particular matrix that I do share over time. There are other videos in this particular channel relating to this matrix as well. But I would recommend that you get a copy of this particular article, which is the lead article, which has a lot of detail in it regards retail tenant performance in shopping centres, particularly tips for leasing managers and centre managers as well. So go there and download that particular article. It is very useful for you in your location. So let's go further into this and let's look at this particular topic. I have covered off in other videos before the topic of asset class, also property design. Because when you walk into a shopping centre, for example, you need to look at different things, and all of these articles here relate to the different things that I would look at when I go into a shopping centre to understand what's going on, what's not going on, and where the weaknesses are. So if you haven't got these issues under control now, make a list from these particular topics. That is within property design. As I said, if I'm looking at a shopping centre, I would always go into these issues and ask these questions as part of taking on a shopping centre from a leasing and or management perspective. All of these things. Just to highlight them for you, I'll move the cursor through them so you can see them. And of course you can pause the video as well so you can make your list. And you can probably add to that list as well, particularly because your property may be a bit different, a bit bigger, a bit more challenging perhaps, and there are some issues of property design that you would want to add to that list. So let's go into today's topic, and that is item number 3, and it's all about property details and ownership review. So let's put it in this particular scenario. Let's say you have looked at the property design, which I just spoke to you about, and now you're going to look at the property details and the ownership review. In other words, you want to know a lot more about the property and work through it. So what are the issues? What are the questions I would ask about shopping centre detail, ownership review, questions, probing questions into different things? Have a look at these. Here we go. Number 1, the budgets. I would certainly ask about the budgets for the shopping centre now and in the past, so I can see how the property has been performing or not performing over time. Then I would go into the code compliance issues. Exactly what is happening in the property now regards code compliance to building codes, operational issues, that sort of thing. Then I would ask questions about current negotiations underway with tenants in the property, leasing perhaps, or other lease issues. Then I would go down into the full ownership review and check. In other words, what is the ownership structure for the shopping centre? Who are the owners within the structure, the company that owns the property? Understand who they are, what the structure is. From that, I would then go down into the history of the property, because you can learn so much about the history of a shopping centre. Go back into the history over the last 3 or 4 years, ask questions, see what you can get, because it is very useful. Then I would look at the improvements on the asset now. Where are the improvements? How are the improvements from a presentational perspective, also a practical perspective? Are the improvements working well for the customers and the tenants in the property itself? Then I would go into the income and expenditure actuals. Now, I did say to you before, there's the budgets. Sure, you've got the budgets, the actual budgets now, but now you need to look at the income and expenditure actuals that apply to the asset, and how does that compare to the budgets up there? So let's go down into the investment targets. That's the next one. The landlord of the property, the owner of the property, will have investment targets. They will have a holding pattern to the asset over time. How long do they want to hold the asset? You need to know that. And of course, the investment targets, the income stream, the net income needs to be considered for that particular target. Very close behind that will come the lease documentation review, because the leases drive the income stream. So you have to understand those leases, the documents, the actual leases applying to each tenancy, and anything else that may be applicable to the income stream, which may also be the licenses within the property as well. Then there is a maintenance review that needs to occur. The maintenance, which will be the different levels of maintenance in the asset, which could be the repairs and maintenance, also the capital works programs. Then I would go down into the relocations that need to occur, should occur, or are occurring, because you do move tenants around over time. And you should do, because some of those tenants need less space or more space over time. As part of that, in relocating, you would then look at the renovations that should apply to the asset. Some renovations should be ongoing, especially if it's an older property. Then I would go down into the risks and liabilities in the asset to understand exactly what the risks are and any liabilities that could be ongoing. Now, the risks could be to tenants, customers, and those risks could be compounding because of the age of the asset. So understand that for what it is and work through it. Now, the next topic within the whole review is the SWOT analysis, which of course is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. In any shopping centre, you should do this once a year to understand what's happening with the shopping centre itself. What are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats, and apply that logic to the tenancy mix, the vacancies, the lease documents, the maintenance of the asset, the tenancy mix itself, all of those things. Now let's go down into the next one, which will be the tenancy mix. That will be reviewing the tenancy mix in detail. That will be all the specialties, the anchor tenants, that sort of thing. And in another matrix within this particular set of videos, I have given you a tenancy mix review process and the categories for all the specialties which you can use. So check out that video whilst you're here. Then I would go down into the tenant's compliance to permitted uses. So let's say you have a group of 10, 20, even 100 tenants, specialty tenants within the property. Just depends how big it is. Are the tenants within compliance to the permitted use within the lease? In other words, are they doing the right thing? Are they occupying the premises in the right way? Hopefully they are not bending the rules. But in a shopping centre, some tenants do bend the rules, obviously to make more money, but that can infect the whole tenancy mix with some sort of corrupt retailing aspect which derails the property over time. You don't want that. So remove the infection of the tenant that is bending the rules, fix it, get them back onto the permitted use, and then allow the whole tenancy mix to work in balance. I would then look at the upcoming renewals of negotiations with some tenants. And when I do that, I look out 2 years into the lease expiry profiles for all of the tenants. When I do that, I can actually understand what the vacancy threats could be over time. And then I can work early on that for early renewals, for moving tenants around, that sort of thing. So the upcoming renewals profile for the asset is 2 years out for me. And when I do that, I look down into those lease renewal scenarios or vacancy factors, whatever that is, so that I can negotiate early. And that leads me to the final point here, and that is the upcoming vacancies. So again, that's part of the 2-year outward-looking view. So a lot of these things that I've just mentioned actually come into the property business plan. And a shopping centre should always have a property business plan that is reviewed every year for its effectiveness and across a lot of the issues of the tenancy mix, the cash flow, the tenants in occupancy, the good tenants, the bad tenants, how the property needs to change over time, the capital works programs, all of that. Now, whilst you're here, please visit the website and also get a copy of this particular article, which relates to retail shopping centre handovers. And there's a lot of detail there that you can go through relating to a shopping centre handover, a very big list that you can print off and refer to. That's very useful. And for those members of our online community, they know already that I do give out a handover list as part of the shopping centre performance analysis for my property managers and also my leasing managers. So if you're not part of the overall list and the emails that I send out, make sure you join up whilst you're there. So this is John Hyman. I do thank you for listening to us today as part of this overall matrix. In the next matrix, I'm going to go down into the tenancy mix and take you deeply into that topic. That will be the next one. It's ready to go, and I'll take you in there next time. But today we've taken you into item number 3, and also in the earlier videos I took you through item number 1 and 2. And you can see there's a lot more here relating to shopping centre performance, leasing, all of that sort of thing. So get ready for the next video, which will be this one, the tenancy mix. But today you've got your issues here, and make sure you copy all of these down into your checklist relating to your shopping centre, leasing or property management. All of these things will help you ask direct questions about the shopping centre as you take it on, as you work with it, as you work through the issues relating to shopping centre performance. Again, this is John Hyman. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you again very soon online with another part of the video show for shopping centre managers, leasing experts, and other commercial real estate agents and brokers around the world. Catch you soon.